Oh, welcome back, everybody, to the Dusty Bender Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chance Watson. With you, as always, Tayler Wells.
What up?
Well, not always. He's fresh out of prison,
Sure am.
just on parole, out for good behavior.
Yeah, if we're gonna get a GoFundMe started,
Okay,
uh, I didn't do it.
free Wells,
Free Wellsy.
free Wellsy. Hashtag free Wellsy.
Yeah.
Uh, episode 149 coming at you folks today. One shy of the big 150, coming up on that big milestone. Recording on a Thursday afternoon, May 23rd. We've got some Dallas Edmonton going on in the background right now. That score is 2-1 Edmonton going into the late parts of the third period there.
Yep.
Bit of a surprise, but Pete DeBoer win a first game in a series challenge. Go.
It's impossible.
Can't be done. Can't be done. Real quick before we get into the hockey, obviously we got to shout out our sponsors. Folks, the Hub Tavern in Spokane, Washington is the premier hockey bar in Spokane. Go on check them out on Monroe. Part of the Anchor Alliance. That means they're officially affiliated with the Seattle Kraken. Go on in there. You can always get some great Kraken-themed prizes sometimes. They've got awesome giveaways. And always cold beer and hockey on the TVs. And if even better to throw on top of that, if you walk in there, Dave is going to give you some sass, and man, he's got a lot of it. He's the sass master.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
that fits on a shirt pretty good.
That could be, yep. Hashtag sass master for Dave. So go on in, cash bar only. So make sure you bring those Benjamins in there and go on in there and enjoy some hockey at the Hub Tavern. Also, a hop, skip, and a jump from the Hub is Monterey Cafe in downtown Spokane. Best place to go sing your heart out for some karaoke and have some fantastic pizza at an affordable price. All the bartenders there are absolutely amazing. Gotta shout out to Jeff here. Not only is Jeff just an amazing dude and has an amazing business, but also sticking up for the Dusty Bender podcast. He took a trip down to Boise recently. I did as well. We'll get there in a second. But Jeff goes down there and sticks a Dusty Bender sticker in Freak Alley. If you guys are familiar with Freak Alley down in Boise, repping the colors down in Boise. Shout out to Jeff. Gotta love him. And Jeff, I'm gonna get you your shirts here soon. I promise. That's gonna happen. That's on my to-do list immediately.
That's badass, dude.
Oh yeah. All right. And last but not least, folks, Fire Chief John Miller, longtime listener, longtime supporter of the show. Just actually contributed. He actually won his money back from the fantasy league and decided to donate it to the show. So what a guy. What an absolute gem of a guy. He's out there saving our lives and supporting a great hockey podcast. So kudos, golf clap for John.
Snappies.
Yep, absolutely. All right. And folks, actually, you know what? We got to do one last shout out here because as I mentioned earlier, I was down in Boise very recently. And I got to meet an amazing individual. His name's Will, owner of the Space Bar. And those who are in Idaho and that kind of type of the world, they might know that the Space Bar is kind of in their own process of pushing to change some Idaho liquor laws, some antiquated stuff on how liquor licenses are handled down there. I suggest you jump on over to spacebar.com and check out what they've got going on and help them fix kind of an antiquated system with liquor licenses going on here in Idaho. But also, just on top of that, Spacebar's fucking awesome, man. Go on in there. I was down there with my buddy Kyle. Shout out to Kyle, Avs fan. So, poor Kyle. Yeah, but got in there, got to meet Will. Awesome hockey fan, follows the show now. So shout out to a new listener and new supporter of the show with Will at the Space Bar. That place is so fucking cool. It's my favorite. It's my favorite bar down in Boise, and arguably one of my favorite bars of all time. I look forward to. Taylor can even attest to it. I won't shut up about it every time I go down there. So,
yeah, shut the hell up, dude. I'm starting to see a trend here. Yeah. Just a lot of bars.
Yeah, it's a lot of. What is that? What is up with that?
I don't know.
A lot of bars that Chance frequents. I don't know. It's something like that. Hey, it's not just that. It's bars that also appreciate hockey, and I think we can all get behind that, right?
That's right. You could. I mean, most bars still have one of those little squeegee things. They'll get you a water or a Diet Coke, dude.
Something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're not a drinker or something. I don't care. Go hang out.
That's right. Well, at the Space Bar, you can go in and not only drink but play some games too. I just noticed, and this is not a sponsorship, but I just noticed that apparently Mountain Dew energy, like alcoholic drink, is a thing now in a can.
No.
Yeah,
Didn't I thought we had issues with that. It's not C4. What's the Four Locos, dude?
that
Are we
was for Loco.
over?
I think Mountain Dew was just like, no, we can do that, but better.
Yeah,
We've got enough angry gamers out there that we can just put alcoholic Mountain Dew in a can.
that's brilliant, dude.
Well, and
You know
people, dude, people
that's
were
just
cracking it.
waving through the fucking Chell.
Oh yeah,
That's got Chell and cod written all over it, dude.
absolutely. Well, what better place to order them than at a gamer? Because that's where I found it. Oh, I got to shout out the bartender too. She had like an imperial tattoo on her hand. God, I
Nice.
can't remember her name, but she was super cool too. Yeah, hooked us up. Went in there. It's the coolest place. They got like N64s and shit hooked up to the TV, so you can go in there and play Mario Kart and everything. Badass.
Get Zelda going.
Hell, you could if you wanted to sit
Yeah,
there
there
and
you
play some Zelda.
go. All
Loved it.
right.
All right, and I actually got to catch some hockey down there while I was at it. Watch the Steelheads losing 5 to the I think they're the Kansas City Mavericks.
Man, I miss ECHL hockey, dude. Alaska used to have an ECHL team, and
Yep.
it was fun hockey. I mean, they just
Yep.
some of those guys throw bombs, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, they got nothing to lose, really. You know, that's
That's right.
right. That's the
Yeah,
league where they have day jobs. So
yeah. And this is our fifth grade teacher.
right, right. Come
That's
out and
good,
support Mr. Greg down at
Mr. Greg.
Mr. Greg down at the Steelheads game tonight. No, it was absolute blast. It was a good time. Unfortunately, I did change a loyal. As an Idaho boy, I was supposed to root for the Steelheads, but yeah, midway through the game, I did learn that the Kraken are affiliated with the Kansas City team, so I switched loyalties about halfway through.
That's just par for the course for you, bub.
That sounds about right, right?
Yeah,
Sounds like something I
yeah.
would do.
Dallas 2-2 now.
No
Holy.
shit. All right.
Petey's trying to win a game one.
Good for him. This might be his first one.
Look at him go. He's just maturing in his coaching
He really is. Well, I mean,
extravaganza.
get past the conference final challenge as well for him. So
Well, yeah. I
see how
mean,
that goes.
it's just it's you're just splitting hairs now.
Yep.
But
Absolutely. But cool. Yeah. So all right, I think we're done giving shout outs. Let's get into some hockey right now. Taylor, you missed the last episode when we last talked about it. All the other semi-round series had finished except for Edmonton, Vancouver. We can give a little
mhm.
post-mortem. Give a little post-mortem on the Vancouver Canucks. I'll lead things off. It kind of sucks that a team that maybe could have had a shot I mean, fuck man, losing Brock Besser, who was just having like this is all the the diehard Vancouver fans were saying like this is the Brock Besser that we've always known he could be. He was
Mhm.
finally living up to that. It's like and misses it because of blood clots. Man, that's just absolutely
It's a
brutal.
damn shame.
Absolutely brutal. That might be I contribute that to be a big part of it. Like is that fair enough to say?
Oh yeah, I mean that's huge, right? I mean he had easily his career year. He was playing good in the playoffs, and and just to miss that game, right? Like that's the game that you literally grow up playing. I mean, 12 points and 7 goals in 12 games in the playoffs this year. That's shitty, man. That's just not where you want to be. So, yeah, I mean, I won't throw it all on that, right? I
No,
think
it's not.
Vancouver still gave a hell of an effort, but it definitely doesn't,
In
it doesn't
fact,
help.
let me set you up for this one. I would say that somebody else being absent, even though they were there, contributed more to the loss. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about Demko?
No, no, because he actually wasn't playing. There was a guy that was playing, but you wouldn't have known it based on his score sheet.
Oh, are you talking about Petey?
Oh, I'm talking about Petey.
Yeah, so it just came out today. PD apparently has been playing through a knee issue. I mean,
Okay.
everybody says that when they come through it, but yeah, another thing I saw, and this was a big like, you know, very divided between Vancouver fans from what I could tell. You got to give like there's some guys that you got to still find the right wingers, right? You can't give every single player the
Ah,
Crosby
yes.
treatment and
Ah, yes.
say, we're gonna play him with Mikheyev. We're gonna play him with fucking, you know, Dick Butkus. Like, come on,
Right.
dude. You got to at least give him some players to fucking play with. So I'm kind of more in that camp. A lot of that has to do with he's a keeper in one of my fantasy leagues, so I got a
Sure.
little bit of a little bit of a fanboy
Invested
on him,
interest
but
in the guy.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, but I agree. I mean, you want to see him try to fight through, and he's one of those guys. You gotta like they probably need to get a big winger with him, and then another skill guy. You know, I think that's probably going to be the recipe for success for him in the playoffs because you know, and don't get me wrong, he still looked slow. He still looked like he potentially did have a knee issue, but yeah, I don't know, man. But again, we're just we're highlighting some of these more finesse players, right? And saying this guy's not built for the playoffs. We've had finesse players in the fucking playoffs for years, right? It's just putting them with the right guys, but also sometimes the pucks don't fucking bounce, So
I saw that. I
um,
saw that comment. We could talk that for a second because I'm curious to dig into that a little bit. So I think it was Mark Spector who was kind
mhm.
of like giving his thoughts on it, and he I think the quote was like more Saskatchewan, less Stockholm or something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
And people piled on him about being fucking, racist and xenophobic. And I don't buy that because it's that's just more of like an old person hockey take and less of a xenophobic take. Like I don't think that he hates Swedish players. I think it's the old stereotype of like if you want fast speedy guys, you get Europeans. If you want tough grinder guys, you go Canadian. And that's nowadays like everybody's everybody. Like it's all mixed around. Like you can find tough Swedes and you can find, finesse Canadians. But from, Mark Spector is not necessarily the youngest fella. And he kind of represents, the Don Cherry kind of takes. And I don't like, I understand what he's saying. And it is definitely, I don't know. I understand the people who might not think that's PC is good. But at the same time, like I understand what he was trying to say, in the sense of like you need tougher guys, and it's just an old man hockey take. Like you need tougher guys and less of these finesse guys. Uh, which makes me laugh because that sounds like something that the 100 hockey men of Toronto would say or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm a little more PC than you, and I'm
Sure.
like, that's a fucking reach, dude. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
like that is closer for me as the saying all Swedish no Finnish,
Right.
right? Than
Right.
what people are trying to find a fucking issue with. And
No, I
and
don't.
don't get me wrong, right? They're probably just seeing that from Mark Spector and going, but he's had some other fucking
Right. Yeah. No,
sketchy
I'm
takes, so
not necessarily
he means the
defending Mark
worst by
Spector.
this, right?
Yeah, Mark Spector is not
You
necessarily
know?
great. It's just like that type of take. Like that's an old hockey Canadian take. Like even going back to that goes back kind of like the Summit series. Remember, like between the Russians and the Canadians, where it was
Mhm.
like a 10-game series or something like that, or a 9-game series, and basically the Canadians gooned it up. Like they just beat the hell out of the Russians were more talented, and the Canadians just like beat the hell out of them, literally. So I think that's where that old school mentality comes from. Not defending Spectre, he's kind of not a great writer in my personal opinion, but
Sure.
um, but the point remains of like you've got a lot of speedy finesse guys on the team and not a lot of grinders, and I don't even think that was necessarily their problem. I don't think that's why they lost. I think it's
No.
because I think it's because they're just not a you didn't shut down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Like
Mhm.
that's how you beat the Edmonton Oilers. And then you also have to get your star players going. Besser was playing amazing. He got knocked out. I'm not even gonna say Demko and Silvos going or Demko and DeSmith going down was a factor because Silvos, or however you say his name, he
Sealobs
played
or
great.
Silvos or what? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he played great. Am I wrong? Like, do you think that? I think he played great.
No, I mean he's definitely not the reason that they lost, right? I think
Sure,
I think if you look at the season that Demko had, obviously finishing in the Vezina conversation, right? Like you know, I it's all what ifs, right? Like it's
sure.
all what if Demko was there? Is that a 2-1 game, right? So yeah, I mean I think that did play a role a little bit, but best and you can't even look at Besser. Like I think they still in Game 7 put up a good fight.
Yep.
Like I mean I don't think. I think they got
Well, they
outshot.
put a good fight in the third period. I think
They
they
put up a good
worked the
third
first
fight in
two
the third
periods.
period.
Yeah,
They did, but I think I mean that says something, right? That at least tells you, look, they weren't ready to completely die. You want to see a little bit more out of them for 40 minutes of play.
sure.
But I don't disagree with you, and I think that's what Spectre was trying to get at, right? Like
Yes,
it's just kind of an unthought out. We need a little more grit than finesse, right? It's just an
sure,
unthought out way of saying that, like you kind of
sure.
alluded to.
It's an old school
So
way of saying.
it's an old school way of saying that, but um, yeah, I mean, I think Hronik kind of disappeared a little bit for me.
Yep.
I
In
think
fact,
I think they
he
kind of
played kind of bad, honestly.
yeah, he didn't look great in what is a contract playoffs, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I but we kind of talked about this a little bit with Bobby before the rounds even started. You know, man, with some of the adversity that Vancouver had and going up against a team that a lot of people have picked for the cup, even right, like um, I think they did a very good job. They did an admirable job, and you just build on it, right? You look and see, who played good. You obviously cannot get rid of PD's contract, so you need to figure out who you
sure.
can put around him for him to have success. But I think it definitely shows them, is Hronik a guy that they re-sign, right? It just kind of gives them some of those thoughts. So
So does that
it'll be
argument have
interesting.
merit to you? Like, it does, putting somebody around him like contribute? Like, obviously the injury, taking the injury out, like, is it the idea of like, oh, you got to put somebody better around him for him to succeed? Because I think the counter argument to that is like, we're paying him line maker money. Like, we're
Uh-huh.
paying him to make whoever who is on his wings good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you necessarily need to put an absolute world beater with him,
Sure.
but I think,
Not.
if he's struggling, you don't put fucking Mikheyev. It wasn't working,
Is it
right?
Mikheyev and Kuzmenko or something? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, because Kuzmenko. So there was some stuff that came out like after Kuzmenko got moved, his
Let me look it
numbers
up.
just shriveled. But you gotta test some stuff out, and I think it was honestly it was uncharacteristic of Tocchet, and I think because he liked the Dakota or the Joshua and Garland combination, and he wasn't gonna mess with that really, right?
He was
So
he was skating with Miller and Mikheyev at the last part of that.
yeah, last probably dying minute, third
Yeah,
period, probably third period of the last game, right when they
sure.
had some chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He
I
was even
mean,
I think he was skating with Giuseppe for a little bit too.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, not to completely defend him, right? Like you want to see him be better than that. He doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, right?
Sure.
Like you can't look at the guy and be like, "Oh, his first playoffs, he didn't just absolutely fucking crush it." Like that's a tall order at the same time. So he's going to build on it. He's going to learn, and um, if you're a Vancouver fan and you want to get rid of a guy like Elias Pettersson, who is a number one center in this
Yeah,
league,
you're kind of nuts.
uh, feel free. There's 31 other teams that would probably fucking take it.
Love to
So
have him. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to me, he's not Marner, right? Marner
No.
plays more predominantly the wing. It's just any team is gonna talk to you about a first line center, especially if there's pressure from your fan base. As much as we hate to say that is a thing these days.
Yeah.
If there's pressure from the fan base to get rid of him, you might get you know you might get him moved, and you guys might not even make the fucking playoffs next year for all we know,
Right.
right? Like so just be happy with what you were able to accomplish this year with no Demko and Besser in Game 7, right? So
Well,
yeah,
tying that into that, so tying it into it, give it to I mean, thoughts on old what's his face gets the Jack Adams.
yeah, talk it, dude.
Talk it.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think if you were to reel it back to the beginning of the season and you looked at Vancouver's roster versus Nashville's roster,
I didn't
um,
have them in the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, I didn't have them either, but I think on paper that's probably you're probably looking at that team much higher than Nashville.
Yeah.
So I think and it was Burnett got a good amount of votes,
Yeah.
and
And
I think
that's what the Jack Adams is nowadays, right? Like, it's not who was the best coach, it was who exceeded expectations.
Yeah, and I'm totally okay with that. I know that bugs you a little bit, but I'm totally okay with that. That proves to me, and that's why I think it has kind of evolved to that.
It makes
That
it more
proves to
exciting.
me, yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like it makes
You can't
sense if
just
the
give it to John
team,
Cooper every year. I get it.
yeah. Well, you can't just give it to the coach that wins the fucking cup every year,
Right.
because
I get
realistically,
it.
that's the best team. We don't know what he's actually coaching, right?
Sure.
Because that team is so good. So I think that's why it's kind of evolved into what it is now, is because you're looking at those teams, Torts until he kind of fucking fell off, right? But you're looking at those teams, especially Nashville and Vancouver, where it's like not a lot of people had them penciled in,
I think Torts
and
wins it if they make the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
If they
yeah.
made the
Well,
playoffs. If they don't, then no, but obviously not. But
yeah, I would have put Burnett and Torts in a closer. But I mean,
agreed.
Taka
Agreed.
basically took that team from, not they didn't get absolutely fucking murdered the last couple of years, but they weren't great, and
Sure.
then just kind of walked them into winning the Pacific, right? Like,
Yep.
I do think that is impressive, and then got them past the Nashville team. But I think if you look on paper and from a skill set standpoint, Burnett's not working with much at all,
No.
right? So, for me, I think that that's probably where my vote would have gone. But I have no problem with talking either. I think that's I
Sure.
think that's fine.
No. And I honestly don't have it. I I think it's just it needs the awards need to go to what I feel like is the definition of. And like if we're saying like coach that exceeded expectations, then 100%. Like I agree with that. But I just and I'm not necessarily saying like, Scotty Mike Babcock with the 2008 Detroit Red Wings. Like, do I think Mike Babcock was the best coach? No. He that roster was fucking filled with all-stars. Like it's not, you know.
Yeah,
So I get that. So I do understand your argument. And actually, you know what? You've convinced me. I agree with you now.
you're such a pushover nowadays, man. God,
I'm
yeah.
open. No, so no,
You're just
that's not
aging. You're
true.
aging like fine wine. You know.
God, I know. I'm more
You know
open-minded
that.
than ever. Um, okay, so yeah, I like that. And if if I'm a Vancouver fan, I'm optimistic because you know what? You weren't supposed to make the playoffs this year. It seemed like you guys were crashing into a rebuild. Uh, the future's bright. Things are good.
Yeah.
Do you think they can build on this, or is this a one-off?
This to me, I mean, they have some decisions to make, right? Like, Hronik is an RFA. I honestly, I have Breck Besser pulled up. Maybe I should just look at his fucking contract.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
For some reason, let's see. Nope, he's got one more season, so 24-25. He's signed through.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it is with a guy like Besser at 27, and Petey's only 25, 26. You got Miller still there, and Hughes obviously, and those kind of kids. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with Hronik. And at this point, right, like, Demko had a great season, but it's just another year of being injured. I
Yep.
don't know what, and this just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, just because he was kind of out when it mattered, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know if we can, when he's in, he's great, but he's kind of run into that. Okay, how many games is this guy going to play?
Mhm.
So, for me, I think it's what I would have hoped New Jersey would have been and done this season,
Mhm.
right? Younger team, things are looking up. They got a number one center, they got a number one D, they
That's a
got
good
a
point.
they got a goalie, right? And that's right before that is where it stops off with the Devils. But yeah, so I mean, I think they're on the up and up. I think that makes that Pacific a little more challenging for some teams like the Kraken and Calgary, depending on what they want to do and those kind of things. So personally, I think they're on the up and up. I think it's just going to be a windy road for that team because of the division that they're in too.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. It's only going to get better.
yeah,
It's only going to get better. I could see that. I mean, not to mention, I think what Utah is going to jump into that, and they'll probably actually, be competitive again. Wait, would Utah jump into the Pacific? Probably, maybe
I thought the plan was to just
Central.
leave them in the Central, but I
Okay.
don't I
I mean,
don't know.
if they move Atlanta, then it would, or if they put Atlanta in, then it sounds like, I mean, everything's going to shift over a little bit. So,
They
but we'll
fucking
see.
if they had a 33rd team, I'm gonna go watch fucking underwater basket weaving, dude.
Oh fuck! You know they're
What are
gonna.
we doing?
Atlanta's
What
gonna
are we
happen. You know it's
doing?
gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen.
So fucking stupid. It's just greasy.
A little bit, but that's Gary Bettman is there to be greasy, so that makes sense.
He literally, yeah, he's like the forgotten cousin of just some Rat Pack wannabe in fucking New Jersey or something. That's what he looks like. He looks like the Penguin a little bit. You know what I mean?
He is, but like with a shitty New York accent.
Yeah.
I was what was my Gary Bettman accent?
Luigi.
It's guys, guys.
Guys.
Listen, we gotta make more money for the league here, and the only way we can do that is by bringing Atlanta back for the third time.
That's pretty good.
Was that pretty
Is
good?
he more Wario or is he more Waluigi?
Waluigi. No, he's I was going for Penguin. I was going for Penguin, but in New York.
Yeah, all right, I got
Yeah,
that. I like that.
guys. Plus, it's got to be nasally.
Nice.
Like he doesn't like Wario and Waluigi like command respect, whereas Gary Bettman's he's kind of flim flam, you know. Like
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely those. Yeah, Wario and Waluigi definitely can command a room.
the
I don't know if they
department,
get
the
booed.
Department of Player Safety is never wrong. That's
It's pretty good.
there's no correlation between head contact and CTE. There's no studies.
There's no data to show.
There's no data.
Science is fake, guys.
That's right, unless it comes to TV ratings, and then I'm gonna base my entire life around that.
Yeah, unless the data is about how much everyone loves electronic board ads. And then I'll read the data.
Oh God, if I hear the I want to the Be a Pro commercial one more fucking time.
Is that the one where
Oh,
the NBA guys are singing?
what a pro wants, what a
Oh,
pro
good
needs.
fuck.
Fuck,
Literally,
fuck.
dude, the wife and I heard that song. Yeah, must have been one of the first games that they put it on, and I'm just tuning it out, and all of a sudden she goes, "What the fuck is
What
this?"
is this?
I was like, "Yeah, dude."
It's getting right up there because I think that everybody like they heard the pushback that we're hearing it so much. So now we're getting the fucking I don't know if it's the insurance commercial. I don't know if it's Geico or something, but it's that stupid commercial where the kids are outside shooting on the goal, and every time they score in street hockey, the entire house lights up with goal
Oh
horns.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, that one's starting to get on my nerves too.
You can buy those, dude. You can buy those little horns for your
Yeah.
team. You can like program them to. Well, I mean, yeah. The Ducks one went quiet, a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago. Really. Yeah.
Taylor,
No.
your Morgan's like Taylor. That thing hasn't gone for the Ducks horn. It hasn't gone off in like months. Is it broken? No,
I thought they were playing
no, it works
hockey.
fine actually.
Yeah, nah.
I
There's
switched.
just
I switched it over to another team and it works fine. Ducks just haven't
uh,
scored a goal in 5 months.
yeah, they don't score goals. Neither does Team USA apparently today.
Apparently, yeah. Okay. Rapid fire, real quick. Let's because I want your thoughts on the postmortems in the semis. Florida obviously moving on. Beating Boston in 6. I said it on there. Better team won. You go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, they tried to basically just lean on Swayman's back, and it was just
Yep.
like, dude, I mean, the kid can only do so much. So
Yep.
yeah, I from all accounts, it sounds like they want to be buyers, and with Marchand at 30, 31, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe he's older
No,
than
he's
that,
36, 37.
36. Like I don't know, I don't know if that's the right move, but I mean, you're not gonna sign Swayman to a long contract and go, yeah, we're
36.
we're gonna phone it in, dude.
Right.
Get your, take your shots, I guess. But
I think definitely we'll see the end of the dynamic duo. Olmark's gonna get traded for sure.
I
In
think you
fact,
have
this
to for assets, man.
or the smartest if you still think you're in the window as long as you got Brad Marchand, you swap Olmark for a center because
Yeah,
and that's no insult to Pavazaka. Pavazaka played fine.
yeah,
He's just not elite. Like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they definitely, and I don't know if you're gonna even get a number one center out of Olmark, even goalies just don't get a huge return, and I think that's what people are forgetting. I
Mm,
mean, we've talked about that with the Gibson stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
we've seen some asinine shit for a goalie that teams don't really know what they're going to get because he's been behind shitty teams for 6 years, dude. Like,
Aaron, Aaron,
so
get, Aaron gave us shit on the last episode. He's like, you know how people make fun of Leafs fans for like, how does this affect the Leafs? He's like,
yeah,
this show's motto is, how does this affect John Gibson?
hell yeah, dude.
And I'm like, fuck
Uh,
yeah, it is. How
yeah, I
does
mean, but it's just it's a good, it's a good, it's how
so
people can relate.
so Tayler, Sam Bennett ended up like slide punching, uppercutting Brad Marchand in the face, takes him out for
Hmm.
2 games. Throw this over to you. How does this get John Gibson out of Anaheim?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing out of Anaheim is that yeah, isn't that one's crazy, dude.
I think we're just trying to will into existence of getting John Gibson out because we know that he's like an
Poor
abused
guy.
child that just
That poor guy, dude. Get him out of the
somebody
dungeon.
somebody needs to save him.
He's so tired of being shackled up.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate I mean, I really like this low rate kid on the
Yeah.
back end for Boston. I think he's pretty sick. I honestly I like their decor. I think they shake it up a little bit. Just I think Grizzlick is on a expiring contract. Don't get me wrong, or don't
They,
go on that.
they've got another 2 years. I'm gonna say it. They got another 2 years of being in the mix.
Okay.
I
You
don't
just
think I'm not saying that
Brad
they're
Marchand.
what's that?
You're just going off of Marchand
Not
age.
even necessarily that. I think that well, I don't know because I mean Pasta's pretty young and McAvoy's pretty young.
Yeah.
Um, those guys actually could probably, that's the new core, and there are not many teams that have, you know, old cores. Like, if you think of it in terms of like swapping out the cores, like it
Right.
was Bergeron and Marchand for a while, being replaced now by Pasta and McAvoy. Really,
Mhm.
like that's you could throw David Krejci into the old mix, and Zenichara a little bit but he's like old guard.
Mhm.
Um, but you've got the new core coming up, which is great for like that shows the asset management of Boston, and actually like they've been kind of working toward the future. They're ready to move. They have a core to build around. Some teams don't even have
Right.
cores to build around. Like like Ottawa's still trying to figure out what their fucking core is.
Right.
Um, so at least they've got that. So I think they're in a better position to like retool on the fly instead of
Mhm.
having to hit the hard reset button. So they got another year or two to be in the mix, and then you're going to see a slow but steady decline for a bit.
I mean, I think they're in an enviable spot, right? Like for me, I think it's much easier. Number one center, that's going to be a little tricky, right? That's going
Sure.
to be somewhat difficult for them to try to wiggle around.
Yeah.
But I mean, free agency for forwards is much nicer than free agency for D
God.
and especially tendies. So
Yeah.
they are pretty well set in that regard. So, I yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they attempt to do, but yeah, they got to get a little bit nicer down the middle in order to kind of keep going here. So,
Sure.
we'll
Nope.
see.
I get
Pasta
that.
is 27. That's fucking young, dude.
That's pretty
It
young.
just
I mean,
feels like he's been around forever,
it
right?
does. It does. It really does. Okay. We'll get to Florida in a second because they moved on. Post-mortem for Carolina. Uh, you can't you can't keep Freddie Anderson, can you?
No, Kachekov's got to be the guy, man. You gotta run with him, see what you can do. See how many of these guys you can re-sign and just roll Kachekov. You know, you
I
gotta
think
see
you
what you can
trade.
do.
I think you sacrifice and write this on the fucking calendar. You sacrifice some depth to get yourself a goalie. Like we talked about it on the last episode, and I'll kick it over to you to kind of comment on this. But like the Canes are coming into a very like it's a good problem to have kind of thing where they basically need to re-sign half their team coming
Yeah,
up here this year. Um, so it puts them in a like a bad position of like, oh shit, like we got to resign everybody. But also, if they want to remake the identity of the team, they have the opportunity to do it now. Like looking at all the UFAs and RFAs that they've got, like you obviously, I don't know, like there's rumors that Natchez isn't sticking around. Um, there's rumors that Pecci Pesci is
Hmm.
also on his way out. Guys that have been, kind of cores there, but I think they're pretty young. I don't know. We'll see. They're nuts if they don't at least try to keep Jake Gensel.
100%. I think he clicked immediately. There's no way you can look at his body of work
Shit.
with Carolina and
I'd
say
I'd
we don't
sign
want him.
Kuzi too. Sign Kuzi for a short deal too.
Yeah, I think you could do without Kuzi, in my
You
opinion.
can, but if he's reasonable,
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I think the market is going to be okay for that type of
sure.
player in free agency, though. So,
They need a
maybe he
goalie.
doesn't. They need a tendy pretty bad. So,
They need a goalie.
yeah, I don't know what Kachekov's contract looks like. So that's definitely a big player there. But I, and shout out to Freddie because I mean, there's people kind of giving Besser shit for his blood clotting shit. That is not a fucking joke, and that
No.
actually happens more often to hockey players. Like I played with a guy growing up who literally like had to have a fucking chunk out of his leg taken out because he was having fucking blood
Yeah.
clotting and shit like that. It's like, dude, this is no joke, and it unfortunately happens to hockey players. So, but
You
yeah,
think you think
the
Brock
way
Besser wanted to miss game fucking 7? Like
dude, that nobody wants to do that.
he
Like
would
it's
he probably
crazy.
like I mean, knowing hockey players just like I mean, most of us would risk dying to play in a game 7 of playoffs.
Yeah, give me some blood thinners, call it good, and we'll see if we win
Sure.
it, right? If we don't win it, I'll go on hospice for fucking 3
Right.
months,
If I die, like that's like I died doing what I like,
Doing
playing
what
in
I
game 7 in
love.
the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then the guys win the cup in my honor.
that's
Um,
right, damn it.
all right.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, I think definitely, goalie will be interesting to see what they do with that. Kochekov can play good down stretches. So maybe you get someone to pair him with that just gives him a little bit of a nudge
sure.
and just kind of see what you got with him. But again, you don't want to waste
There's
an entire year. So
in theory, like you said, it's not as good as the forward market, but it coming up, it does seem like there are some available goalies. I'm sure the asking price is high on them, but there are like you want to go top tier, there's the no one has like shot down the Saros rumors yet. Like they
mhm.
haven't gotten necessarily a lot of fire, but no one's also like saying this isn't true. So that's possibility. Obviously, John Gibson needs to get out of Anaheim. Um, Allmark, we mentioned Allmark. I'm sure somebody would like to make an
Yeah,
offer for Allmark, or they're shopping him around. So that's like top tier, and then if you want to roll the dice on somebody, like I I would listen to an argument if somebody's like, if Elvis Merzlikins was just behind an actual competent decor, um, I'd listen to that argument. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I'd listen to it.
yeah.
Um,
It's not a
so
bad pairing of Kochekov and Merzlikins. I don't hate that at
no,
all.
no, no, no. So I don't. The goalie market is not bad. Defense is bad, man. Like I don't. I'm sitting here. I don't know if anybody's defense are in high demand right now, and
Yeah.
finding anybody who's trying to get rid of one is I don't know. I mean, Carolina does have the defensive depth to give away. I'm sure you could get a nice piece for Dmitry Orlov or something like that. But maybe even Brent Burns if somebody wants a cup run. I don't know. In any case,
Dude, Tony
um,
Tony D will don't Tony D will drop his fucking gloves at the red line during a TV timeout for you if you want.
I really want to root for that guy, but Jesus Christ, he's an asshole.
He's
Like,
just
he's just
he's a loose wire, bro. He's just a loose
right,
wire.
right. That's very true. Um, okay. Glad they re-signed Rod the Bod. They're not losing because of him.
Yeah. No, God, no.
No,
No, I
he is.
honestly, that team just ran into a team that was on a fucking heater, man.
They got
You
well.
know?
You can't give up a 3-1 lead in the third period, and that's
Yeah,
like
that hurts.
I know they fell apart, and yes, like the first line. So that's the thing with New York, and we'll get to that in a second. But like that's the thing with New York, right? Like their first line is better than any one of those Carolina lines. Carolina's deeper, but that first line will beat out any one of the other ones. So I don't know. I see it as a situation where you've got I don't know. I don't know what the situation. It's they just got star powered, and that's the way it's going to go. Unfortunately, it looks like you froze. You
Oh, we
might have
both
froze.
froze.
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, there you are.
I got
I
you.
was
I
still
got you now.
okay. I was still talking.
Yeah. Well,
I
it
was still
wasn't anything important, I'm sure. So
No, it was just me rambling.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, moving on from Carolina. Let's jump on over to the West real quick. Post mortem on Colorado.
Yeah.
Um, thought give me. I said in the I talked about Colorado in the last show. I kind of think that they've risen really high and they're kind of crashing. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tricky. I mean, again, for me, they're similar to Carolina in the fact that they ran into a fucking hot team. I mean, Dallas. I mean,
Dallas is good
fuck,
though. Dallas is
Dallas is good. I got
Dallas is deep and well rounded and like they're just good. Like whereas I see them more. I see Colorado as more of like a first line team. You know.
yeah, yeah, and I don't disagree. I think their depth really shined through in the Winnipeg series, and then just were nowhere really in the Dallas series. So I think there was a little bit of inconsistency there, probably a little bit of fatigue, realistically, because Dallas kind of lulls you to sleep more than
Mm-hmm.
anything, right? I think that's kind of Dallas's game, and to be honest with you, and I didn't hate Gorgiev's series, but I mean, you
He's
could I
not
think that's
clutch.
he's not clutch. I think that's also an area that a team like that needs to look at and look, yeah, shit. You and I talk about it all the time. Like I love teams that build from the net out. That's not always
Yep.
easy to do,
Yep.
but build from the net out, and they had that miracle run, and I won't even call it a miracle run with Nathan McKinnon and Kale McCarr on the team,
Sure.
but um, Kemper was having a nice season, right? Like,
Yeah.
he was playing like a top level goalie that year, and Gorgiev is fine. He's not gonna win you series. He might not lose you series, but he's not gonna take a
He's not
game
going
or
to
two
steal.
and
He's not
yeah,
clutch.
right. He's not in that elite level as much as I think people look at his numbers sometimes and say like he's got to be elite. Like how are you not comparing this guy to being elite? They have a very fucking good defense in front of that guy, and so for him to have those numbers just doesn't surprise me. I mean, don't get me wrong, he could have some of the shittier goalies in the league numbers behind that defense still, right? But
Right.
um, I think that's probably where they're at. But yeah, they're a little heavy up front. Um, I think
They
Middlestat will be interesting. It'll be
they lost
interesting
a
to see
lot
what
of
they do
that
with
depth.
Middlestat.
They
They
lost a
sure
lot of
did.
that depth from the Stanley Cup run.
Yeah, I mean, it fucking wasn't Kadri on that team, dude.
Kadri, Darren Helm, the linchpin, Darren Helm.
That's what they're missing, dude. They're gonna bring him back.
They got to get Darren Helm out of retirement. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think
Yep.
you're
I think
fucking
so.
spot on.
They should have signed Kessel. Really.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know how anybody that's looked at that man and said, "We can't fit more cheeseburgers into the locker room." Like you're kidding me, right? Get the guy some fucking cheeseburgers, and he'll pot you at 20 goals or something, dude. I don't know,
That's. I mean, that might be why Vancouver lost their series because they wouldn't sign Kessel.
dude. Can you imagine fucking Petey with Kessel? Are you kidding me?
Gosh.
That it is a huge miss for Vancouver, and the city of Vancouver should be absolutely ashamed.
That's what they should be burning the city down about.
100%. What are you blaming shit
Right?
on Petey for? Petey literally, like what I'm hearing is Petey actually sent Kessel while he was in town
Yeah.
a fucking smorgasbord of all the
Okay.
best burgers in town. He was trying to get
Oh,
him here, and
just didn't
he
work,
liked the
huh?
burgers too. They just didn't want to sign him.
Fuck. All
I
right.
know it.
Well, that'll happen, I guess. All right. Last wrap up. Actually, no, we talked about Vancouver. We're good to go.
Yep,
So
sure
let's
are.
move on to our current series that we've got going on. Conference finals. Some good matchups, I think. All deserving in one way or another. If you look at their
Mhm.
path here, um, would I say that somebody else should be in Edmonton spot? Perhaps. Not necessarily the two teams they played. Like if you look at the path here, Dallas defeated the defending Stanley Cup champions and then the champions before them. Uh, Definitely a steeper hill to climb to get to the conference final, whereas Edmonton beat the Predators and the Canucks.
Oh, you were close.
Uh,
L.A.
or
L.A.
LA. Yeah. So not necessarily two very different hills to climb to get to the conference final, but they're both there. They're both there, and they don't ask how, they ask how many. So,
Sure.
um, what do you like about this series?
Uh, to me, this is the epitome of, do you build around two star forwards, or do you build from the net out and go from there, right? So,
Hmm.
um, I think this is still going to be a good series, and I'll follow that up with the fact that you were kind of alluding to and kind of brought up in a way.
Hmm.
Dallas has gone through the fucking gauntlet to get here, and Edmonton has, not to take anything away from Vancouver, definitely take something away from LA. LA
Yeah,
kind of, their first part of the season kind of got them into the playoffs, and then
correct.
we didn't expect much from them. But and Vancouver put up a good fight, but they were playing Vancouver with, like, they're missing their number one goalie, and their the second best D of the season was a ghost, and
Yeah,
they were missing their top
main
scorer.
guy was hurt. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
there's a
you
lot
know,
there.
there's a lot there. So I think this series is going to be good, and it's because of that, only that reason for me. I think Edmonton's still a better team than we've seen, say last year. But you don't know what kind of Skinner you're going to get, right? You don't know, you know, I the and
2-2 with
Bouchard's playing.
2-2 with 10 minutes left in the first OT.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's going to be a good series, but I think a lot of it has to do with, and they both went to, or Dallas went to 6, um, and Edmonton went to 7. So, from a complete freshness standpoint, right? Like, it's kind of even.
Sure.
But I think just the quality of competition before this, I think definitely is the only thing really bringing Dallas down for me. I think they're just a more complete team, right? But
Yep.
Skinner obviously tonight is playing a good game, right? Like, he can play good, and
That's the
but
key word. He can play
he
good.
can play good, and I think these are the games you don't want to see if you're Edmonton. You don't want. I don't think you want to see
We're
a
not
2-2 game.
but look at
Huh?
how we phrase this. Like Skinner can play good, whereas we go Jake Ottinger is good.
It's good. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a difference there. Like when you say, "Oh, is Jake Ottinger good?" It's like, "Yes, Jake Ottinger is good." And you say, "Is Skinner good?" You're like, "Skinner can be good."
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
I know
and
that's a
there's a
that's a big
difference.
difference.
It's a huge difference because Ottinger is consistently good, whereas Skinner, you don't know which goal you're getting when he steps on the ice sometimes,
Right.
and that's a huge factor there. For me, I don't like to simplify these series with Edmonton, but really it comes down to that. Like with LA, when it comes to being the Edmonton Oilers, can you shut down McDavid and Draisaitl? With the LA series, no, I don't think they could. They don't have the talent to do that. Vancouver, no, I think I picked Edmonton in 6. So
Mhm.
no, I did not think Vancouver could shut them down. Do I think Dallas can? Yes, I do think they can.
Mhm.
And that's where this every time Edmonton loses, even go back to their games. The games that they've lost in the playoffs up until this point, look at the games they've lost. It's those games are when Leon and Connor do nothing.
Mhm.
When they don't do
Yeah.
anything, they lose the hockey game. And looking at tonight, these two goals, so right now we're recording. It's first overtime between Edmonton and Dallas. Are tied 2-2. We still don't have a winner in that game one. But Edmonton, first goal was Leon Draisaitl. Second goal was Zach Hyman, assisted by Connor McDavid. So
Mhm.
that's all of their offense right there. If you take those two guys out of the game, it's over. It's 1-0 Dallas. We're all going home. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how
Yeah.
simple it is. And I think that there is enough depth and talent on this Dallas team to shut those guys down. And I understand I know that sounds weird because like chance, it's not so simple to shut down the greatest two play definitely the greatest player and arguably the second greatest player in the world. I get that. But it has been done because Connor hasn't won a cup yet.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
can be done.
Well, and I think yeah, that's a great point. I think, and to add on to your point, Dallas at this point is a well-oiled machine to stop some of the top players in the fucking league right now,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They just stuffed McKinnon and Rantanen, who, you could arguably throw McKinnon in to that conversation with Draisaitl and McDavid, right? I think you could
Yep.
you could fairly put him up there. I agree with you. I think it's still probably McDavid, and then you kind of have that McKinnon Draisaitl competition. But
Sure.
but that's it. Realistically, look at Colorado's D. That's a better D than Edmonton's rolling out, and they basically just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna roll almost four lines at you, and just good luck. Like we're gonna put that pressure on you, and even if we don't get a scoring chance, we're gonna fucking just stuff out,
Yep.
sniff out your scoring chances and put a fucking wet blanket over it. Like
Right.
that's just the way that they play hockey. So yeah, I still really like Dallas. I think there was a percentage that came out. It's like 67% of the teams that win the first game in the conference finals go on to win it. So higher than 50%. So I mean, I think that's it definitely helps to take game one. So it'll be
There's
serious.
something there. Yeah.
We'll see who takes it, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Edmonton's depth hasn't been tested at all, and Dallas is about to run four lines down your fucking throat
Right.
with a world class goalie, on more regular of a basis and is playing good in the playoffs, right? And then a defense that if doesn't match up 1-to-1 is probably gives a slight edge. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, if you're an Edmonton fan, you hope for the best, but I think it's just again, right? It's just those big contracts on the front end of forwards. We're just we're kind of seeing that it pulls from just that well-rounded team that goes to the Cup final, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, this is gonna be a really good series. I love Wyatt Johnston. Love watching the kid play. I think Stankoven is another fun one to watch. I love the kids on Dallas too. So yeah, and realistically, it's there is talk about Bouchard versus Heiskanen because those are two
Yeah.
very good young defense in the league. Those two are fun to watch too. So
One
yeah, it'll
of
be a
them.
good series.
One of them.
You don't like Heiskanen?
No, the other way.
Bouchard outplayed Quinn Hughes, so he's definitely
Oh
I
yeah,
think
absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely what happened. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm,
Yep. Uh, yeah, I can say okay. So final picks in this series, I've got I went a little aggressive on this one. I've got Dallas in 5, and
mhm,
I'll even throw in Bobby, who could not come on the show. He's busy vacationing on a lake in Georgia. I would
mhm,
say the name of it, but it's got a very like deep Southern name, like the
sure.
Owakani or something. Yeah, something like I don't know what it is.
Mhm, mhm.
But he's out there on the lake catching some rays after getting back from Italy. But Bobby said he's got Dallas in 6.
Yep, yep. That is also what I have, and I
Okay,
believe Aaron also had 6 for Dallas.
perfect. All right.
So
Yeah,
no one wanted to venture off on this one. I think
I just don't see it.
Yeah,
I just don't
I don't
see
know,
it.
man. I don't
They'll
know.
win because and I know that's like Edmonton fans will hate me. Like they'll try to sit here and they'll try to like make an argument that Edmonton is a more complete team than I give them credit for. But I'm sorry, at the end of the day, they're just not. Like if Ryan Nugent Hopkins was going to happen, it would have already happened, and it just hasn't. Evander Kane has been an absolute fucking ghost. Um, like it's not like the team will win or lose based on the play of those two guys. Uh and before Aaron starts punching the air right now saying, but what about Zach Hyman? Same. All right, Zach Hyman's not going to score any fucking goals unless McDavid passes it to him. So you're not going to. I'm not going to see Zach Hyman just power through the neutral zone and pull an Ovechkin where he just walks around two guys and then dangles top shelf between the legs. Like that's not going to happen.
Dude, I cannot wait to open up fucking threads tonight. And just my top video is Zach Hyman just weaving through 5
Yep.
guys and burying one top shelf.
Scoring the OT winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
that. It, like, watch as I say it. Like, oh,
He literally
Zach
just did
Hyman,
it.
what a move!
I
Connor,
hope,
Connor McDavid was actually on the bench.
dude, he's playing with Corey Perry. And, yeah. That gets added to the
An
fucking
incredible feat
the
considering
broadcast.
Perry was benched. He's somehow
Mhm.
made his way onto the ice. He stabbed the coach, and he's now on the ice. Sounds like something
Mm.
Corey Perry would do. I
Yeah,
did I
it's
did
like
like I did like the little the holding the holding the
that's
cross that was
hilarious,
really
dude.
funny. As
That's
greased
so funny.
as slimy as Perry was, that was pretty funny.
And he's just standing there with it, like,
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's such a good one,
I'm
dude.
so mad that that came to an suspension. Well, I mean, I get it. Like, you can't cross check somebody in the face, but that was obviously not intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah. In any case,
I know. I don't. We didn't really discuss that one too much, did we?
we talked about it in the last episode a little bit, but basic that
Yeah,
cross check of like where McDavid got double teamed essentially, and
dude. He
fucking
got
fold.
accordioned,
Yeah, he got accordion and folded like a fucking marionette, just
dude.
falling all over the
So
place.
okay, yeah, we'll touch
I'm
on it
not
real
saying.
quick.
I mean, he kind of sold it, but also like that was it's just one cross check to the lower back. He's going down. He was obviously aiming for his chest. See, was it CC?
Susie, yeah,
Susie, yeah, Susie. Susie was obviously going for McDavid's chest, and he fucking just got him right. And McDavid was fine, so no
yeah.
harm, no foul, I
I
guess.
did what McDavid said, and even Marchand getting punched in the face. Like that's a slimy cheap shot by Bennett. I did not like that at all. We didn't
Oh,
even talk
really?
about that.
Okay. So
Oh, it's
Aaron and I
so
were
slimy.
Aaron and I were on the other side of it of like it's like I don't think he meant like is he gonna apologize and say like oh yeah no but I don't think he like in the split second like was able to I think he was trying to give a reverse hit and push Marchand and only made
Oh.
contact with one arm and the other one just fucking clocks him.
Oh,
I,
he's looking straight at his head the whole time, dude. I
he's
that's that
4 inches taller than Marchand. What are you gonna do?
fucking check him.
Yeah,
Check
that's what
him like a fucking man.
it was to be a
Don't throw
reverse.
your fucking right arm at him, dude. That's
No,
bullshit.
it was
That's a
both.
full-blown
It was
punch.
both. Watch it again. Watch it again. He was trying to
No.
go for
No,
the
no, no, no,
revert.
no, 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 no.
Marchand's coming at him. He goes for the reverse hit and tries to push him. And he gets contact with this arm, and the right arm just completely misses and catches him in the chin.
No.
I'm not saying he didn't.
His left arm is almost tucked, dude. His left arm is almost fucking tucked. It's a slimy play.
All right. Okay.
I don't know. I don't care. It's a slimy
Okay.
play. It's
It's fair.
super slimy.
I'm not saying he didn't punch him in the face. I'm saying that I don't think he meant to punch him in the face.
Oh, I disagree.
Okay. All
Disagree.
right.
That's fine.
All right.
That's totally
It
fine.
might be because I'm a Sam. It might be also because I love
you
Sam Bennett. So
I know you do, and I know
yeah.
you're fucking you got fucking sandy goggles on your face. Hairy fucking nutsack goggles.
Sure.
But
Well, and also
yeah.
the problem with this is it was Brad Marchand. Like
Oh, 100%.
like if
100%.
the Department of Player Safety came out, like, all right, key points. It was Brad Marchand who got hit. The person who got hit was Brad Marchand. The person who was involved in this was Brad Marchand. No, no, like it's like that was it.
Yeah, not
It's
even a fine.
right. It's like that fake thing that they did with Tom Wilson. Like key points to
Mhm.
this review. Tom Wilson did this. The person who did this is Tom Wilson. The person
Exactly.
who did the punching was Tom Wilson. Like that's it.
No,
Like
that's
there's
and I think that definitely played a role in it.
for sure.
Yeah, but so what's crazy is you're right. I think Susie would have been high. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think best case scenario, right? He's catching him like high chest.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't think necessarily Susie was like fully not to blame here.
Sure.
I think he knew what he was doing at the same time.
Sure.
Um,
So like if we go through the Dusty Bender, the triple A, the triple point, is it suspension? Did it happen? Yes, he did cross check him in the face. That it wasn't like oh, that's a bad angle. Like no, it
mhm,
happened. He cross checked him in the face. Was there intent to injure? Absolutely not. Like that was
no.
100% a fluke. And was there injury on the play? No. Connor McDavid's fine. So I don't think it was suspension worthy, but that's just me.
I mean, you catch some guy in the face, you're probably getting a game. So,
I get well, and it's Connor McDavid. So
well, I don't
there,
even know.
I
I
think
mean,
that
sure,
definitely has something
sure.
to do with it.
Well, sure, we can point to that.
If
I
it's
think if the
anybody
rules,
else, that's 2 minutes for high sticking, maybe a double minor
yeah,
or a double minor for cross checking, something like that. Especially
yeah,
with no injury. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like if that happened, if it didn't happen at the end of the game, McDavid gets up, he goes to the bench, the ref looks at his face, he's fine. Guy gets, that's a 2-minute power play, or maybe since it's Connor McDavid, it's a double minor. But there's no blood or anything like that. So I don't know. That's how
Yeah,
I see it.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think I wouldn't have been surprised if he got a fine. In my opinion, the dirtier play there is actually Zadorov. To me,
Agreed.
that's a
Agreed.
dirty
100%.
cross check.
Yes.
You don't know what's going on. Your guy is taking care of this,
Right.
right? You're
That's an
coming into that scrum
unsuspecting. Oh yeah.
UC 97 and an unsuspecting lower cross check. He knows exactly what he's doing. That to me is actually a dirtier play. It's
100%.
just there's no injury from that, right? Like
Right.
Susie essentially to me got the one game for him and Zadorov, if that makes sense,
That's yes.
right?
100%.
Like a combination of what Zadorov did to
He
what the
died. He
end
died for
result was.
Zadorov's sins.
Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. That's actually like I actually don't like what Zadorov did there, and he essentially got off scot free.
Yeah.
I think that's a dirty play. He saw the number 97 on there and decided to go for it.
Yep.
You know, and I love some of the Canucks fans saying this. It wasn't that hard. Let that 6'7" fucker come up from behind you, unsuspecting into the lower back and cross check you. Honestly, dude, I want to start a thing where people can come to my area
Uh-huh.
and we can recreate this shit. We'll fucking recreate it. I'm
Okay.
5'9" and I will crumple your ass, dude. I
The
will
Dusty
crumple your
Bender
ass with that
hockey.
cross check to the lower
The
back,
Dusty
dude.
Bender hockey play simulation
Exactly, man.
for
Exactly. I love
for
it.
$10 or a 6-pack of beer. You can come to Tayler and I's house, and we will replicate any dirty play on you and see if you are okay with it or not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. You don't even gotta pay me.
You're not paying.
You don't even gotta pay me. I mean, you need a beer. Like
Right.
you need a beer because if Chance
Sure.
is sitting on the other side and he's moving his stick in a cross-checking motion towards the top of your fucking chest, and I come in out of fucking nowhere and just clobber you in the bottom of the fucking back. You're gonna need a beer and you're gonna need the Zamboni fucking snow to put on your face for the rest of the fucking night,
Right,
dude.
because of the
Like,
fucking
you know
chiclets,
what I
the
mean?
chiclets that I just kicked out of your fucking mouth.
Yeah, dude. Like
That's
you
fair.
definitely like bring your mouth guard and some painkillers, dude.
That's
Because
fair.
like,
That's fair.
yeah,
All
man.
right, I got Dallas in 5. I already said it.
Yep.
All right, jumping to the other side. We do have, as we record this, we do have the benefit of hindsight here. Florida is up 1-0 in the series, but we did make our picks before we went on before the game yesterday. So
Hmm.
we actually do have some unbiased picks for this series. Promise we made them. We got the texts. Okay, if you call us out, we can show us the text. So we've got our picks for this Florida New York series. I watched this first game one, and it was kind of boring, honestly, but it was boring in the sense of like I'm getting the same feeling from this series as I got from Boston, where
Hmm.
it's not a back and forth like two good teams. It's Florida's better, and it seems like New York is trying to keep up.
That's
That's
not a good sign.
no, and that was the like they're trying hard. Like it's not a huge difference. It's just there's a difference between like, oh fuck, this is two really good teams going head to head. Like the I mean the best one is the Vegas series. Like that series was that was two equally good teams,
Yep.
basically a coin flip. Like what a great series.
Best
Um,
series, best series in a while, dude. I
sure.
feel like I don't want to re-hedge that, but that's a
No, that
damn
was
good series.
between that and even from the entertainment factor, even taking all the off ice drama off, the Leafs Boston series was good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. I
that one
agree.
that was also very evenly matched. This one, I don't see it, man. Like Florida just seems like the better team. It's not by much. And once again, I think I'll even say that I think New York's first line is better than any Florida line, but
Mm,
it's not by much on the first two, and then their depth is much better than New York's. And I think Bob's playing out of his fucking mind right now. Like that's a shutout. Like shutting out that power play, unreal. And I
mhm.
think they only got like one or two penalties anyway in that first game. So like to me, that was just like a textbook class. The Florida Panthers opened up the "How do I beat the New York Rangers" textbook, read it, and did exactly what they needed to do. They took like one or two penalties, which I mean is New York's strength. It's their power play. They took very few penalties. Bob stood on his head. They limited, rush chances. It was kind of low event hockey in the sense of just like it didn't seem like there was a lot of like run and gun stuff. It was very structured. Uh, Florida just I don't know. We'll see if their structure breaks. But man, they looked like that they were really. It was kind of a boring game, but they looked like they were in control, man.
Yeah, they reminded me a lot in this game. Even boring, right? I think boring is fine for the actual end result, right?
Sure.
Like, we care we care about the cinema and we care about,
Of course.
the excitement. For Florida, that's perfectly executed.
Sure.
That game is yeah. New York has some work to do. I honestly like yeah, my main takeaway is basically matchup to matchup. Florida is deeper on the front end.
Yeah.
Their defense is I don't like they're obviously they can't keep them around for another year because there's just so much going on in that back end. It's honestly
It's
it's
unreal.
stupid.
It's
It's
unreal.
it's stupid. And then you go to the other side real quick, and Truba I think is one of the more overrated players. I mean, he's been okay, right? Like in my opinion, until realistically, the playoffs is kind of taken him out of. I thought he was an okay
He's
defender
he's
before
only
now.
tried to kill like 2 people, so that's pretty good
Ugh,
for him.
well, that flying elbow is ridiculous. We didn't
That
even
was
talk about
fun.
that. That's fucking unreal,
That's
dude.
death.
That's
Like
unreal.
he was trying to kill him. Like that's
Oh, 100%. He's like he's acting like the kid doesn't have a fucking family.
right.
Like he's literally treating Martin Neckis like he's got no one at home that
He
would
has
care
nothing
if
to
he
live
got.
for.
Yeah, dude. Like okay, and then oh my god, dude, that one's so ridiculous. All
That's
right,
just
we'll go back. We'll go back.
we don't just spend too much time on it because like he missed, but
he
goddamn,
wouldn't
man.
even he wouldn't even have felt bad chance, and like you're telling me this is a fucking captain. He wouldn't even have felt bad if Neckis is sitting there on the fucking ice having a fucking seizure because your flying elbow connected to his head. He would skate away. He would skate away. He wouldn't even fucking think twice about it. That is
No.
psychopath behavior,
No,
bro.
he's gonna go back
It's
to the bench.
psychopath.
He's gonna go back to the bench and collect his Mark Messier award.
Fucking ridiculous. Mark Messier cheered so loud. Mark Messier was
He's like
on the edge of his feet.
Messier's just screaming at his TV with fucking PK Subban going, "Look at that flying elbow! That man's a leader!
How does that not fucking connect? Come on! He
Look at him!
wanted it, dude.
He's a paragon to his team.
Jesus.
Everyone follows his example.
I
What a
can't
leader!"
believe that. That came out after that attempted murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, but yeah. So to go back, like all the stats too, like Truba's been getting fucking worked.
Yeah.
Like that's just if you're Rangers, I mean they're gonna come out better than I think they did in game one. I think they'll make a series out of it. But that Florida team is essentially in the fucking finals already. Like
It's really
their game they're just
it's really
lubed
good.
up, man.
They're really good.
They're fucking
I,
good.
and look, we're harping on the Rangers a bit here. Like, there's not. It's look at the end of the. If you want to reverse it, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Like, you only lost 2-0, and
Mhm.
one of them was an own goal, like a really dumb play by Alexis Lafreniere, and arguably even Shesterkin. Like, why the fuck is Shesterkin going out that far?
Right.
Um, I get that mostly, and Lafreniere, like, God, kid was just trying to stop a pass. Like,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you can't really. It's that sucks, but you didn't lose 2-1. You lost 2-0, so it didn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
So
Couple stats that stand out to me real quick.
hit me.
38 hits to 27. That's not a huge margin, but that you're just letting Florida play its fucking game,
Yep.
right? And the other one is 12 giveaways for New York to 2 from Florida. That's
Yikes.
just that's sloppy, man. That's just you're not going to get away with beating Florida with that kind of shit, man. That's
No.
crazy.
Did I get that power play stat right? Did New York only have 2 power plays all game? I
New
think I
York
think
had
that
2, Florida had
okay.
3. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and that's perfect. Like if it's up to Florida, like if they could just say like agree with New York, like let's just play 5-on-5 the whole game, they will take that every time.
Real quick before we kind of move around here.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I know there was a ton of even in the Rangers, uh, you know, uh, kind of realm of X and things.
Mhm.
Playing Heedle instead of your big boy Rempe. I mean, how do you how
Yeah.
do you feel about that?
Um I think Rempe is he's an energy guy. Like you're not bringing him out necessarily to like be a fixture of the team. He's more of like, okay, we need to get the boys going. And I don't it's I mean, you look at his stats, he's not a liability like Reeves is. Like you
Mhm,
throw Reeves
mhm.
on the ice and you're like, God, please, I hope this doesn't end in the back of our net.
Just sweating the whole time.
Right. Like you're not
Mhm,
necessarily I understand Rempe's probably not contributing much offensively or really anything other than just like, energy and getting the boys going and pissing the other team off. I think
mhm.
that's great. Um I just I don't know. I think maybe throw him out there just because, like just to
Yeah,
see. Obviously it didn't work last game with what was it, Heedle?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Heedle doesn't move the needle much, so why not? Why keep Rempe on the bench when if they're both going to contribute basically the same thing?
Mhm.
Uh, at least put the guy on the ice that people are going to cheer his name and kind of get the boys a little fired up. You know what I mean? Especially at home too.
Yeah, I think just for me, I don't even, I like Heedle. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
I like
fine,
Heedle, and I
fine,
think he, as the series goes on, he could easily be a player for this New York Rangers team to kind of keep him in it.
sure,
But I don't like this move for the first game of the series.
yeah.
To me,
You gotta set
I think
you
that's
gotta set the tone.
you gotta set the tone. You gotta set the tone, and that's exactly why I'm looking at those. Obviously, the giveaways probably could have been worse with Rempe on
Sure,
the fucking ice, but
sure,
those hits are going to be much more even, and because you got to set the tone with this Florida team, dude.
sure.
They got big bodies, even their little bodies like to throw. Like Sam Bennett's not a big dude.
No,
He's gonna throw that body around. You
if
gotta
I'm
yeah.
if I'm the Rangers, like I'm trying to get Rempe out on the first. Okay, Florida would not do this, and if they did, they're stupid. But
uh,
like if I'm New York, I'm trying to get first puck drop. I'm trying to get Rempe dropping the gloves with somebody.
yeah, which they won't,
Trying to,
and he and
which
he
they won't,
hasn't and
which they
he
won't,
hasn't really he hasn't really it was the Capitals series. I don't remember who it was. It was
because
someone.
no one's dumb enough to drop the gloves with him in the playoffs.
Well, and I think he's a big boy. Like he's had some good
Unless you
tilts. I think he's been beat
right,
up a couple times, right? Like he's not invincible,
no,
but he's also a better skater and
yep,
actually contributes a little bit more in the actual
yep,
what I would consider hockey side, right?
yeah,
Like we like fighting, but like the hockey playing side of
sure.
things
We're you and I
than
are
some of these guys.
like comfortably in the middle on fighting because like we understand that it's part of the game, but like you talk to casual hockey fans, like what we've talked about this on the show before. Like when you talk to somebody who knows little to nothing about hockey, what is it that they always say when you say we like hockey or we played hockey?
Well, it depends who you're talking to, because some people are literally like, "Dude, hockey's awesome. They beat the shit out of each other," and then some people are like, "Fighting's bad. We should talk through our feelings on the
See,
ice." You know what I
see,
mean?
I don't
So,
get that one. Like that's usually like that one's usually, and no disrespect to Aaron here, but like this is that one usually comes from people who like hockey but didn't like play hockey.
yeah,
If that makes
yeah,
it to me like that because they appreciate the skill side of the game. And I get
mhm,
that. Like I totally understand that. Because like yes, the idea of fighting and hitting kind of makes it harder for those skill guys to do their thing. Totally
mhm,
get that. But that's the game. Like that's
sure.
the whole point of it. Like that's how you offset the skill guys with physicality. That's just how it is. Because if you got a bunch of skill guys just playing poke checks with each other, it might as well be, it's basketball basically at that point, and
Oh
we don't want
God,
that. So
can you imagine if we fully got rid of like fighting and hitting and
yeah,
shit in this league? Like,
it's the World Juniors. That's
how
just watch
many
the
how many
World Juniors.
Tim how many Tim Stutzlas are we having fucking just flopping all over the place?
Just like Chell dives, like every time you hit the poke check button, somebody just does the fucking absolute dive. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're fucking
right. So,
fucking
but
glitching
you're
on
right.
the ice.
But you're right. More often than not, I get like people who do like it. They're like, yes, like I watch it. I love the fights. And you roll your eyes and like, okay, like yes, I do like the fights too. It's part of the game, but it's not the game. And I
Right.
wish people sometimes respected that. But also, yeah, there are those out there that are like, yeah, I don't like the fighting in it. And it's like, okay, well, no, that is part of all that. It is part of the game. So, um,
Yeah.
I'm kind of firmly in the center on that.
Yeah. I think we're kind of in agreement. You gotta, yeah, from take it from Shorzy. You gotta set the fucking tone, baby,
Got to set the tone.
and you gotta set the tone. You got a couple of couple of guys that can fucking light them up, and then you gotta fill them in. You know what I mean?
Oh, if you,
So
I mean, you bring Rempe in next game, and you put him on the ice in the last. If as long as the game is not like within one, you put Rempe on the ice in the last 2-3 minutes, and
yeah,
you give him a dance partner
yeah,
to set the tone to go back to Florida. That's what you do.
yeah,
100% if
yeah.
I'm the Rangers.
Well, to try to find a dance partner because
Sure.
I don't know who, like Lomberg's not gonna fight him. Like who the fuck's gonna fight that guy in this
Yeah.
game?
I mean, he won't do it because he's so vital, but Sam Bennett, he's got the jam.
Yeah,
Um,
he ain't gonna do it. I think
no, he'd
Bennett
get
would
his
get
ass.
his shit
Nick
pumped.
I mean, Nick Cousins would have the moxie. He won't do it because he'll get fucking crushed, but you
Yeah.
know,
How big is this Stenlin kid? I don't know who this fucking guy is.
I was gonna say I'm looking at Stenlin, Lomberg,
Oh, see, Stenlin's 6'5", 215. I don't know if he throws bombs though.
okay. I mean, cool.
That's 6'5". That's good.
How big's Kulikov?
Dude, I remember Kulikov being on one of my NHL GM teams back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah, motherfucker's fighting with probably like 20.
Okay.
I don't think he throws. I think he throws out of necessity. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
if something
Because
bad
I
happens in
mean,
front of him.
even on the back end, like Ekblad's not throwing fists. Forsling's probably not either. Montour's definitely not. OEL is running away from the fight.
Dude,
Uh,
OEL's heading the other direction. Forsling's heading the other direction, dude.
yeah. So, maybe Bob comes out.
Oh, he's
Uh,
Sweden-born center, dude. I mean, ask fucking what's his face. No way Stenlin's fighting, bro.
no, that's not going to happen. So, no, I mean, if you can get Rempe a dance partner, you absolutely 100% send him out there. It's just the issue of trying to find that it's got to be a blowout basically. Like one team's got to be just kicking the shit out of the other team with like 5 minutes left, and then you can maybe find him a dance partner. Like how I did. One of the most underrated things that we don't talk about in these playoffs so far is Pasta going to his coach in like game 5 or something and asking permission to fight Kachuk.
That's so
Like
funny, dude.
that is so fucking like
That's
that made
rock
my
star
heart.
shit.
Oh yeah, that's absolute rock star shit. Goes out there and yeah, I mean he kind of got his ass kicked a little bit, but
He
he
got
fucking
pumped.
did it.
Yeah, he got pumped.
He did it, but like good for him. And that's like kind of captain, not captain versus captain, but understand. Like those are equal guys, kind of. So
Yeah,
I
I mean,
loved it.
3 years. In 3 years, Pasta's still in Boston, which he fucking should be. He's
Right.
probably the captain, dude.
Most likely. Most likely. So I love that. That was good for both of them. And Kachuk is
Or
not the
Charlie, I
captain.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kachuk's not the captain either. He's the assistant there. So, but I loved that,
Well,
like that kind of shit. So, I you hope to see more of that. But yeah,
I
like I
said
said,
I said maybe Lomberg would fight him. Lomberg is 5'9".
okay, that's not.
Lomberg would rather fight me.
Yeah,
Like Lomberg's closer to fighting me than he is to fighting fucking.
yeah. Lomberg's gonna fight Panarin maybe.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, bald little Panarin.
right. Um, yeah. I mean, from a devil's advocate perspective, like if New York, you're not worried too much. You got outplayed a little bit, probably 2 of those periods, but the score was close. Shesterkin didn't look weak other than, just a blunder at the end of the game. Other than that, 1 goal is nothing. You completely wipe out the second goal. You pretend it didn't happen. That's a ringer. You throw that one out, or a mulligan rather. You throw that one out. You just focus on the 1 goal. You lost the game 1-0. It's not the end of the world. It's
Yeah,
you can regroup and kind of get going back, and I suspect they do. So my final pick on this, I've got Florida in 7. So I as much as we've been ragging on the rags, so to speak, I wonder why they're called.
heyo.
Hey, there you go. That's a hate New York Rangers podcast right there, ragging on the rags.
Ragging on the rags. All right.
It's just an entire show of just making fun of the Rangers.
That'll be our summer Rangers episode.
That could be. I like that. You and I could make a show of just hating on the Leafs. That would probably be more successful than this show, honestly. Like,
Probably.
like Welcome back to Leaving the Leafs.
Yeah, but I think there's more of a chance, there's more probability we'd be walking down the street and just get socked in the fucking mouth.
just-
So,
they
yeah,
wouldn't be
I
able to.
mean, like, pick your poison, I guess.
It's fair. I'm not planning on going to Toronto anytime soon. So,
All right, that's fair.
and
I've
they're
been there
and
once.
we know their fans can't finish anything. So,
Mm,
oh,
just like the Swedes.
yep, that's right. Okay, who do you got for Florida, New York?
So you
I
guys,
know you were. This is the time to change your pick if you want.
no, I'm sticking with it.
Okay,
So the other two boys also went Florida, and I think that's totally respectable. I don't remember. I think Bobby was 6, and I think I
Bobby's got
think
Florida in 6.
I think Aaron was 6 or 7.
No,
Um,
I think he went regressive. I think he's got Florida at 5.
oh, you went fucking tough, tough. All right.
Mhm.
I just for fun because I have Dallas winning it all, so
Oh no,
I
he's got
couldn't.
Florida in 7, and I have Florida in
I
7.
knew it was close.
Yep.
Yeah, I got Dallas winning it all, so I couldn't go against the grain there. I got to stick with my boys. So I took Rangers just for fun. I honestly like, you know,
It's
I
not
think
it's not unheard of. Like I'm not sitting here going
it's
like that's a
not.
dumb pick. Like
Yeah,
it's possible. I'm not it's Florida is the if I had to like give gambling odds, like Florida's like the 55-45 favorite.
right. And I think that's actually very close to what like some of the polls
Okay,
were. Like I don't remember who it was. Someone posted it on X that there was just kind of a poll of like a lot of people, and I think that's pretty close to what it was.
sure.
Where
If
Dallas was 65 or something.
listen, if Shesterkin continues to only allow one, again, we're throwing out the bad Mulligan goal with Lafreniere. If he only allows a one goal this whole series, they're gonna win the series. Like if he
Yeah,
allows one goal a game, they're gonna win the series. It's gonna happen. Um,
yeah.
but also you're dealing with Bobrovsky, so who is playing lights out at the moment. Um, we're just gonna. I mean, I think the Rags are just hoping that they're gonna get more power plays next game.
Yeah, I think what's a little concerning with me, even though they closed Carolina out, right? They had to have a fucking 3-goal third period in order to do
Sure,
that. They were well on their way to a game 7 against a team that they were up fucking 3 ripping the
sure.
series to,
Yep.
right? So I think there is a little bit of demons with them, but this team is still pretty damn good, and they're getting back Heedle. I think the Heedle in versus Rempe move by
Helps a little
it's
bit.
Laviolette, right? I think
Okay.
that's overthinking it, but I still think the D matches up okay, and dude, Shesterkin his lights fucking out sometimes. So and up until realistically this year, he had a bit of a rough year. He's playing pretty good in the playoffs, though, right? So this is in those two tendies are so funny because literally like it can be it can be Shesterkin's turn next game, right? Like,
Right. Right.
for all we know, Shesterkin could just dust them with a fucking shutout. So,
Sure.
yeah, I took the Rangers just for cinematic,
Shits and giggles. Yeah.
shits and gigs. But so I do think it is probably closer to Florida in 6 or 7. But I think
I like that. No, it's
Rangers,
totally doable.
yeah, it's totally doable. And Rangers have to win the next game though. You cannot go down 2-rip in your home barn against the Florida Panthers. This Florida Panthers team. You can't even go up. You can't even go down 2-rip against this Florida Panthers team last
Fair,
year.
fair.
Well, I
I
just
it's I
man,
like I was gonna say, like it's not unreasonable. Like Florida's lost games at home. Like it's not unreasonable, but you like you said, if you go down there and you split games to Florida in Florida, you're coming back to New York for game 5 down 3-1. Like
yeah, that's not. I'm not feeling good about that.
no, I'm not liking that. I'm not liking those odds for them. So yeah,
Oof,
you're right. You're right.
yeah,
I see that. So but yeah,
they
they've
got to
got it.
win it.
Ooh, Edmonton
We've
takes
got
it.
a final.
Edmonton takes it. We
Woof.
suspended the game long enough. That's Edmonton takes it in double overtime, 3-2 over Dallas. Dallas continues to play the script perfectly and lose every single one of their game ones.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know what that is, dude. That's
That's such a weird
weird.
stat. That's such a weird stat. If anything,
That's
like I'm worried. Like if they won the first one, you're like, oh, uh,
Oh,
This
they're
could
gonna
be a
get
problem. Yeah.
now it's 4-1 Edmonton. That's
Yep.
good.
Uh, hey, you want to take a guess. Take a guess on who scored the overtime winner.
No, I already saw it. Why don't you just
Okay.
tell the beautiful people at home?
Connor McDavid. Shocking.
Sure did.
Shocking.
Sure fucking
Shocking.
did.
Connor McDavid scored that goal. And I think like maybe Edmonton fans like might get on me about how it seems like I'm insulting them, and I kind of am, but I'm also very much like pointing out that they have the two best players in the world, arguably,
Right.
and it's just the problem is that it's beating them is simple yet not simple. Like simple in the sense of shut these two guys down, you'll win the hockey game. I understand the act of doing that is not very simple. Like how do you
Right.
shut
That's not as
down?
easy.
I understand that. I'm very cognizant of shutting down these two best players in the world is not easy, but but beating them, the concept is simple. Like you beat those two guys, you'll beat the Edmonton Oilers, and unfortunately, the Dallas Stars could not do it. That's how it
Yeah.
was. In fact, it looks like their stars got shut down because both their goals came from fucking Tyler Seguin.
Dude, that's a star.
Uh,
He's a
he's
Dallas Star, Chance.
oh, that was fuck.
Thanks, folks. I'll be here
That
all fucking
that
week.
was woof, that was too good. I don't even know how to. I can't even follow up with that.
I had you fucking thinking about it for a second too. You see
Damn,
that?
that was. I was blown away by it. Like I was like, that
That's
was too
called
fucking good.
comedic. That's a comedic pause. You know what I
We
mean?
should probably get into entertainment of some kind. Uh,
Yeah. If you think that would be good, then yeah, I could do it.
yeah. All right. I think that's what we got for the playoffs. Real quick, there's some good off ice stuff going on. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the blue shirts, the Buds.
Sure.
Actually, they're not the blue shirts. That's New York. The Buds have hired on Stanley Cup champion Craig Berube as their head coach. Sure.
Try it, dude. Why
Yeah.
not?
Can't hurt.
Why
It's
not?
Craig Berube is good. He was the best available coach in my opinion. Um, I don't. It. The thing is, it's like I don't like. Great, you change the coach. I understand the idea of like it needed to be done, but like here it comes, right? Like they're going to convince themselves that okay, maybe with Berube helming the ship, we don't need to change anything. And like maybe with just
Mm,
a new voice behind the bench, we'll get a different look at this squad. And they will convince themselves to run it back again. And that's kind of what I alluded to when they first got kicked out. I was like, they're probably just going to run it back again. Like they're going to do the same thing they do every time. They're going to run it back again with maybe a different supporting cast. Like I don't know if they keep Bertuzzi. I don't know if they keep the other guy. I can't
Domi.
remember his. Yeah. I don't know if they keep
Domi's
those
gotta
guys.
stay, dude.
You think
Yeah.
scored like one goal, something like that. But yeah,
He's got
vital.
that juice.
That's right. So I don't know. I don't. It's not a bad move. Like in a bubble, it's not a bad move. It's a good hiring. I think Berube will do well with the team. But the problem, and it's the same thing I'm going to get into with the other coaching hire here in a second. The problem isn't the coaching. I don't think they were losing because of Sheldon Keefe.
Right.
So, and that's yeah. What you thought? Anything else on Berube? There's not too much there, I guess.
No, it'll be interesting to see what Toronto does because I mean, we did discuss it I think a couple episodes ago, but like Marner's not going anywhere, dude. Like as much as Leafs fans want to try to bully their way into the front office
It's
of
just
the
not
Maple Leafs,
feasible.
it's not feasible. It's not going to happen. So yeah, they're just running it back. Realistically, what you do, you just shoresy that shit, dude. You literally just you got the guys at the top that are trying to fill them up,
Mhm.
and you got to just put fourth liners on the fucking third and fourth line
Right,
and let them fill them in. You know what I
right,
mean? Like,
right.
and if anybody's gonna, I think if anybody's gonna pull some value out of some of those guys, I like the Berube hire, man. I do like it. I think he's just a little nastier, right? Like he's not. I think Sheldon Keefe, and this was kind of brought up, multiple times in his tenure in Toronto. He is kind of a player's coach, right? He's kind of, you know, buddy buddy a little bit. He's a little
Yeah.
easier on the guys, and so it'll be interesting to see. I think who was it, Kairu? I think it was Cairo who was kind of complaining about Berube in St. Louis,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, he was
you know,
pretty
so
pissy about that.
so maybe this is a ploy to get Marner out of town because Marner's feelings are definitely going to get hurt, right?
Yep,
Like, you know,
most likely.
Berube is going to expect some actual fucking grit from the guy a little bit, right? Like
Yeah,
you gotta play both ends of the hockey rink, right? So
sure.
I like it. I still think they need to. You got to make one move that makes you look really fucking good, you know. And I
Uh,
just tree leaving. How do you
Mark
say it? Tree
or
living?
Gibson?
No, we're not allowed to bring Gibson up. Aaron told us, right?
Oh, no, he was just giving a shit about it.
Yeah, I heard the one that's kind of been running around is like Marner in Toronto's first this year for Zegras, the third overall, Gibson. I think that was it.
Honestly, I
Which
don't. Well, yeah, no, I don't like that. Never mind. At first, I would like when you first said that, I was like, that's not terrible. I wouldn't hate that. But now as I think about it, I don't really like it.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, you hope Joseph, you know, you hope Wool has a you know, a
Sure.
nice set of health, right? You bring in, arguably, I think you bring in a veteran guy and just see what you have in Wool.
Yep.
You know, I think that's probably where they need to go. But they gotta have, you know, I think the back end they need to, if they don't make a splash for somebody, they need to
They
like.
need to though. They need to. That it's
I know, but they won't, man.
no, they
They
won't.
don't
You're
have,
right. You're
they
100%.
won't, and they don't have the cap space to do it really.
Well, and
So
that's like, what do you like with the Marner situation? Like, he's got a no trade, so it's
yeah,
either he
he's not.
waives it, which why would he? You know, why
Mm-mm.
would? I mean, unless he really doesn't want to be there, which he does. He's making a
Lots of
shit ton of
fans,
money.
your fans are hoping that they're bullying him enough, which is fucking gross in general.
Well,
But they,
that's par for the course in Toronto.
yeah, it
They've done,
just makes sense.
and to be fair to the bullies out
To be
there,
fair,
it's like to all the haters out there, good call. Like you got
yeah, but yeah,
it's like they to be fair, Toronto fans have bullied players out of Toronto before.
yeah, and those
Like
players have gone on to do great things.
many of them. Yeah.
I love
I
it.
mean Phil Kessel, Jake Garnier, Freddie Anderson, like just naming a few.
Dude,
Um,
Rasmus Sandin is another one. Like Rasmus
yeah.
Sandin, I can't believe they got rid of Rasmus Sandin. That kid
Yeah.
solves
In
so many
fact,
problems.
there is like a list of like former Leafs that have won the cup since. It's pretty funny. But anyway, but
We do that with the Ducks though too. Like there's Ducks
okay,
fans that fucking
fair,
hold their seats, but it's fine.
sure. But in any case, like I do see, yeah, it's they have had success with it before in the past. So like kind of just shunning somebody into leaving the Leafs is a thing. So credit, it's not just like screaming into the void. They actually can do this sometimes. But
Mhm.
with Marner and the money, like see that's the thing though. They're fucked. Like if you can't trade him, then what do you do? Let him walk in free agency?
Fuck,
Like there's nothing else that you can. I think he's on an expiring. Like this is his last year, right?
man. It's just the way it works sometimes, though. You know, I think
I think this is
you
his
bite
last
that
year.
bullet, man. Yeah,
I think this
you
is a
sometimes
contract year.
with those guys that become UFAs, you got to bite the bullet. So I think that's probably where Brad's head is at. Is, you know, let's run it back. Nobody's going to take him at the deadline, and we're not going to move him because there's a good chance we're going to be in a fucking playoff spot like we've been for how many years, right? We just
Hmm.
don't have playoff success with him. Or, you know, and I'm not even saying it's Marner's fault because Marner had a nice playoff last year, and we're just forgetting about that. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think they need to win a move, right?
So he's
They
okay.
need
He's got 2
some.
years left.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
He's got
That's
this
more than
coming year
enough.
and the year after. Funny thing is, all Leafs fans already know this. This is the year that his no move clause kicks in.
Fuck. That's
Like
rough.
literally, if they did it this year, he no move. Next year, the next season is when it kicks in.
But his playoff performance last year, there's no way you're moving him this year. There's no fucking way. So
No, it's
that's
it,
so funny.
rapid fire of the Leafs, and then we can move on. But like you keep Matthews, you keep Nylander, you try to get something for Marner, and like you keep Tavares, but you can't be paying him what like you want to keep Tavares, but it's too much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, So
100%.
that there is that come from. And but see, that's the thing though. Like if say you even want to entertain the idea of re-signing Marner, like do you, I'm not giving him double digits. Do you sign him for 10 and change again? I'm not.
No, I mean, you got to
He's
have some
worth
playoff success, dude.
he's worth 8 in my book.
Uh, I mean, regular season, if you're looking at his stats and the points that he puts up, he is probably closer to that 10. But at this point, yeah, in an unrestricted free agency, a UFA contract, yeah, you need to be looking at that fucking playoff success. And
I
it
think
just
so.
it's he's had essentially one good playoff, right? So, and I
In
think
fact,
his numbers are good last year because they made it into round two, right? Like I
in
think
fact, him and his dad, him and his dad might get pissed off that like even say the Leafs even the Leafs came up to him and said, "We'll re-sign you for exactly what you're at right now." He might get offended by that.
Yeah, he would, but he shouldn't. I think 10 and a
Agree.
half is
Agree.
yeah. I'm probably closer into the 9 and a half boat, but
I don't know,
yeah.
man. I mean, okay, so 26 goals and 59 assists this year for 85 points. That is impressive. But yeah,
That's what those guys are getting, man. That's what those guys are getting. So I mean,
perennial 30 goals. Well, I mean, below 30 goals. I don't know, man. It's even like okay, I would even accept an argument of like, okay, well, he's not scoring, but at least he's passing. But he's not even passing. Like,
you know what? The Leafs need and this solves all your guys' problems. Well,
mm,
welcome to my TED Talk,
yep,
Taylor Talk. You need a young defenseman that is either blocked behind
yep,
a good decor
yep,
that you can go out and get, or you have to find a gem or a diamond in the rough, man. You have to. There needs to be some positivity on that back end. You can't just fucking grab all the misfit toys that are technically fucking third pairing guys
sure.
and hope that you can put them next to Morgan Riley. I mean, they've attempted to put some of these guys next to Morgan Riley. Like
And
you got to have.
there's even a very loud minority that even say Riley's not shouldn't be in that position. He's more of a
Riley
2D.
is fine. And I don't disagree with that. I think Riley does have more of a two-way, closer to a complete game, which I'm totally okay with that. But you're just surrounding him with essentially third pairing guys. I think
Right.
arguably the closest guy that could be a first pairing guy that they've had is Muzzin,
Mhm.
and he got injured, right? Like
Yeah.
Muzzin, honestly, is a shutdown D. He's way past his fucking, with his injuries. He's definitely that's nobody anymore.
Yeah.
So they needed someone like fucking Rasmus Sandin
Yep. I
who
just
could who could be that 1-2 punch, man. I that's
we're
what they
sitting
need.
here over analyzing a team that is like
100%. We can't
like
fix them.
above average. Like, look at you lost a very close match to the Boston Bruins. I mean, could have been a coin toss and went to overtime
Sure.
in game 7. Hard fought series, could have went either way. Totally fine in a bubble. Let's take out the fact that they haven't beat them in 50 years and whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Um,
that doesn't matter.
just in a bubble, very close, skin of the teeth series, could have went either way kind of thing. But then the team that you lost to, was punching above their weight the entire time and got beat by, arguably, perhaps the Stanley Cup champions. It shows to me that like they're not close. Like they can make
Yeah.
the playoffs, but they're just not elite. They're good. They're not elite. And I just don't think that they've got too much money tied up in too many players to where I don't think they're ever going to get to the point where they're going to be elite.
Yeah. I'm even with Berube, who I think is going to be good for this team. I think if there's
This this defensive
any
core is
chance
trash. This defensive core is absolute trash. Ilya Labushkin is on a top pairing line with Morgan Riley, and then your second one is Simon
Benoit,
Benoit, and Jake McCabe. Jake fucking McCabe. Like, sorry, man. I just don't.
dude, you want to hear something crazy?
Defense and
Simon ben-
goaltending is fucked.
Simon Benoit was third pairing on the Ducks last year
Okay.
on the Anaheim fucking Ducks.
Yeah. And now he's
He
skating second line
also
minutes for Toronto.
second line minutes in Toronto, and he also, when he was on the Ducks, had one of the worst plus minus seasons of all fucking time.
Yeah, I don't.
He's
It's
not a good defense. He's a seventh defenseman
this
essentially.
this defense is
That's
below
bad. They need
average.
help.
The,
They
the,
need
the
help.
defense
That's where their focus needs to be.
the defense is below average, and the goalies, like, I mean, yeah, maybe Wall, but Wall seems like to have injuries. And then after that, like, you can't keep Samsonov. Like,
Yeah.
Samsonov has not proven it, and Martin Jones is. You know
Dude,
what?
Martin Jones is the ticket.
You know what? Starting goalie Martin Jones, sign him up, bro.
Okay, last thing I'll say, they need
Matt Murray, Martin Jones, 1-2 punch right there.
they need a vet goalie for Wool. Let Wool be the guy.
Yep.
You need to dump everyone that you can on the front end, right? Like just get close to the league fucking minimum
Mhm.
and put that money into a fucking defenseman, and you might have a shot.
They've got to sure up. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm embellishing too much, and you know that I'm really rough on the Red Wings defense. I think the Red Wings defense might be better than this defense.
I completely agree with you. I mean, Moritz Sider is, in my opinion, better than Morgan Riley,
Like,
and I mean,
Sherratt's not good, but oh yeah, Moritz Sider and Simon Evanson, case closed.
you're
Like if
set, right? Yeah,
like
come on,
they're
dude.
it's already better. Like yes, getting past that, like Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie are below average. You can
Fully
count on
modest,
them to
fine.
be Mata's fine. Gostisbehere is a good offensive defenseman. Like there's problems. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not even necessarily saying it's good, but it. I would take this defense over the Toronto one.
Sure. Yep, I'm with you. Hey, let's do a little rapid fire before we sign off here. There's been a decent amount of coaching changes, so
Yeah,
let's kind of cook through them a little bit.
let's go to the Devils real quick. I think that's the other
Okay.
big one.
Yep.
Now, speaking of the Leafs, go ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon Keefe over to the Devils for Lindy Ruff. There was an interim there. I don't remember who it was, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, we joked about it in the group chat a little bit, right? This is the best defense that Keefe's gonna have ever
Yeah.
had, right?
Yep.
So, he's got the same goalie situation, probably a worse goalie situation, which is fucking impressive to
Agreed.
say.
Agreed.
But I mean, that defense is much nicer. I think they're a little, they're a little deeper with some of the guys. We love Eric Holla,
We
right?
do.
Like they're deeper on the front end, even when it comes to Devils versus Toronto. So uh, Devils have to focus on the goalie situation, and Sheldon Keefe will really see his true colors, right? We'll see if Toronto is an issue versus
Jesus.
if Sheldon Keefe was truly not the answer, right? So,
Looking at this
yeah, this will be an
IR.
interesting one
I'm looking at this IR, man. Like, I mean,
for
if
Devils.
it's bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hamilton,
Dougie Hamilton,
Bastion, McLeod, Foot, Lazar, Hughes, all out. That's
yeah,
just
Sheldon Keefe, because of where the Devils finished this year, could easily win the Jack Adams next year.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
If he's got a healthy squad.
if he's got a healthy squad, which it's weird because Dougie was missing some games with like Boston and
Yeah.
was it Calgary that he was with,
Yeah.
and or Carolina,
Carolina. Yeah.
Carolina, um, and then was putting up some games and actually playing full seasons a little bit for the Devils, and then it was just shit. Like
Yeah.
he just had a half year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is this is a huge test for Keefe because if what some people have said about Keefe, like he's actually a good coach,
Yep.
this is the chance, right? This team is, and this team is so built. They got Luke Hughes on the back end.
It's getting
There's no
good.
way you can keep Simon Nemec down, right? Like there's just,
Yeah.
even with Dougie back, he's in the fold, and you got guys like Jack Hughes and Nico Heischer and those kind of guys. So
I'm with you, man.
um,
They just need a
yeah, he's
goaltender.
walking into a great situation. They
They
need
just need a
goaltending
goalie.
bad.
And they
Need
have the
goaltending bad.
assets to do it. Like
They do.
they could. I mean, seeing Allmark, Soros has been heavily rumored to go into the Devils. Like you get, I mean, Gibson's been rumored to go there too. Not to bring up Johns Gibson again, but like,
Jesus.
I know well, I mean, anytime that we talk about like a goalie, somebody needing a goalie, like, I mean, he's the definition of needing to go somewhere. So, his name keeps coming up. I don't know. I mean, the Ducks probably don't want to do that, but in any case.
I gotta trade for him.
Okay.
Boston, you go Mercer, you go it's probably gonna take you a first round pick, but you go Mercer who can play center, and a first round pick for Olmark. Maybe throw in Holtz.
I think that's fair. So Boston would probably want a little more
Yeah,
to
so
make
maybe
it
throw in
not fair.
Holtz.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Holtz gets tossed in there because Lindy Ruff just
Or a
killed his
prospect,
fucking.
maybe a prospect.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
but Holtz is at this point because of what Lindy Ruff did to
sure.
him on the Devils. He's kind of a prospect at this point. So,
Sure. No, I know what you mean.
um,
No, I like that. I like that. And that's, Allmark has shown that he at least, but Allmark's older. See, that's the problem. Um,
yeah,
but I like where your head's at, and that's definitely, I'm sure they've kicked tires on Allmark. So,
yeah,
um, no, I like this squad. I think my thoughts on it, not to, because I agree with almost everything you said. I think it's just that I don't think the problem with New Jersey is the coaching. I don't think Lindy Ruff was the issue. I think you got
hmm
rid of Lindy Ruff because now I understand there are some Devils fans that are going to get pissy about that because, manage, asset allocation, like guys playing with each other. I get that. But at the end of the day, I don't think the problem is that, you could put Luke Hughes wherever you want. You can put Jack Hughes wherever you want. Uh, if your goaltending is fucking Jake Allen and Capo Kakinen, uh, you're not gonna fucking win hockey games.
it's ridiculous,
I'm
dude.
sorry. Like, it's just like, if your defense is fully healthy, maybe you're competitive. But if you have, if your defense is hurt, this goaltending is not gonna fucking. And in the playoffs, it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah,
And if you you get rid of Allen and Kakinen, that's what Virtanen, or not Virtanen, Vayachek, or did he get traded?
I think that's no. Oh fuck, I don't know.
Like, because they
It
basically got
doesn't
rid of.
matter. That's the thing.
Yeah, they both got rid of, because it was Vayachek. How do you say his name?
Vanacek,
Vanacek. It
Vanacek.
was Vanacek and Shakira, or Akira.
hmm hmm
Shakira,
Schmid,
Shakira, Shakira.
Shakira Schmid.
Shakira Schmid. It was Shakira and Vanacek, and
Uh-huh.
now it's Allen and Kakinen, which, just swapping out.
It's
You're you're
terrible.
you're trading seats on the Titanic, right?
It's not
Like,
even mid. Like you
no,
can't even
it's
call any of those goalies mid, dude.
that
They're
was
just
that is the
god
definition.
awful.
That is the definition of panic. A panic move. Like,
Uh-huh.
we
Uh-huh.
can't
100%.
not do nothing.
Yeah, dude.
We
Who can we
can't.
bring in that it's the exact same as what
Right.
we have?
We have to try something. We can't, I can't, God forbid somebody hits me with that Simpson meme of like, we tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. Like, I've got to do something. And
Yep.
that's getting Jake Allen and Capo Kakinen is something. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick before we
Yeah, who you
sign it
got?
off, let's do a little rapid fire here.
Hit me.
Speaking of the Lindy Ruff, he is now with the Buffalo Sabres for another stint. The other one that was kind of interesting, I think even some of the Kings fans were interested in this one.
Mhm.
Jim Hiller is getting a run with the Kings, so he was kind of the
Fine.
Todd McClellan plug-in.
Fine.
And then the Ottawa Senators bringing in Travis Smith, I think, is another interesting hire for them. So,
He won't,
I mean, any of those three moving the needle?
uh, Hiller, maybe. I think that there's prospects there that probably the fact that they signed him to long term shows that probably in exit interviews the team liked him.
Yeah,
So that shows that, he at least has the room right now, which at the
sure.
end of the day, to me, that's huge. Like, more often than not, if you still have the room and the players like you and they feel like that they've got your confidence, that'll keep you. I think that's why, maybe Sheldon Keefe kept his job for so long, is because he never lost the room. Like, the guys like him.
hmm
Um,
Right.
it's what gets you canned quick is like you've lost the room. Like, in exit interviews, everybody's like, I won't fucking play for this guy. Like, he's an
hmm
asshole. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever the case may be, that's what it is. And to me, that shows that at least Hiller is, the guys are buying into what he's got, which is good. Lindy's not going to do anything with the Buffalo Sabres, and he's just not. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that to me.
Negative.
To me, that's we've tried so many things. We're not serious enough about this to actually go out for Sheldon Keefe or Craig Berube. So we're just gonna go back to a fan favorite, which is Lindy Ruff. Like, and if
Uh-huh.
anybody else hired Lindy Ruff, everybody would be like, wow, so we're not gonna try this year, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
This
but
year's done.
Right, like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna be, another like, we might limp into the playoffs kinda year." But because Buffalo did it, uh, "Oh, we're back, baby." You know?
That's so funny, dude.
I laugh
Crazy.
about that, so I don't like that, and Ty Smith, I don't know who that is, so.
Travis Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
so that tells you a lot.
I don't know who that
Yeah.
is.
I think that he was with Vancouver.
Okay,
I think he's with Vancouver for a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, it's literally that.
All it does is scream to me that Ottawa's still not taking this seriously.
That's crazy, right? It's
Like,
crazy.
it's there's it I will never I'm never going to overrate them again. Like, I'm sorry. That's a bad team. The team is still bad. And them hiring a no-name coach like that is I'm sure this is going to cause Edmonton or Ottawa fans to come out of the woodwork and be like, "No, he fucking won the goddamn fucking Calder Cup in 2016 or some horse shit. I don't know. What's his name
Right,
again?
right. Travis Smith.
Travis Smith.
Yeah, dude. I mean, don't even look at his fucking Wikipedia. It's not going to make you happy. All right. While you're doing that,
Yeah.
I'll go through the three, the three or four that
Travis
just
Green, not Smith.
Travis Green. What am I
Travis
saying?
Green. I don't.
Travis
You said
Green.
Smith.
Thank you.
I don't know.
David Quinn is out with the Sharks. Dave Haxtell was removed from the Seattle Kraken.
Yep.
Drew Bannister, who was the interim while Craig Berube was removed from St. Louis, is in with St. Louis, and then Rick Bonus is retiring. So those are kind of other coaching stuff. I don't think with those. I mean, obviously, Kraken, Sharks, and Winnipeg haven't found their coaches yet. So those are jobs to keep an eye on. But yeah,
We can go into the Kraken when it happens, but I guarantee you it's Billsma. They're just waiting for Coachella to finish up their playoff run, which
yeah.
Coachella's in the West in the conference finals, so that's good. But I'd put money on Dan being the next Kraken coach, which is
And you and I have talked about him on this podcast for a while. So I mean, I think I got no problem with that move. So
on the surface he's earned it. It's just and honestly, like I mean, he had a great run with he's a Stanley Cup
Pittsburgh,
champion, isn't he?
yeah, he's got cups with Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, weird fall from grace. I don't know what happened that got him, going from winning 2 cups with
I
Pittsburgh
don't know.
to becoming, assistant coaches and AHL coaches. I don't know what happened there. But it seems like he's redeemed himself. We do talk shit on this show about how, the coaching carousel, people should maybe try something else. This isn't necessarily that definition, but I get where, instead of, going for the best free agent coach, we're actually hiring from within. And yeah, I mean, Coachella went to the finals last year, and they're shooing for it this year. So he's definitely earned at least a look, I
Yeah,
suppose.
and young kids, man. Like I think there is a benefit, right? Like that's why John Cooper was so successful. So why not try it with Bilesma,
Oh my God,
right?
Travis Green played for the Spokane Chiefs.
Here you go. You know him.
I'm sure I've got something signed by him.
There you go.
He played for
If you
the
were,
Spokane Chiefs for 4 years. I wasn't alive yet when he played for the
I
Chiefs,
was gonna
but
say if you were even born yet.
no, I wasn't alive yet. But and then coaching record, mostly Vancouver, and then New Jersey recently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Why does this say? This says Travis Smith. Who are you? CBS Sports, get your fucking shit together, okay? Fucking losers.
that's funny. Yeah, Travis Green played for the Spokane Chiefs for 4 years in the '80s. Good for him. All right, well,
In the 80s, man. I was a twinkle.
I was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's coached
I was a top.
the Canucks. He's coached the Canucks and the Devils, which doesn't inspire any confidence in me, and kind of shows to me that Ottawa just doesn't care.
God, dude. But that's the thing is, shout out to the Ottawa Senators fan base because God,
No,
they're positive through mediocrity.
they really like
They
they
really are, dude.
legitimately like I don't know. This is a backhanded compliment, but they legitimately brainwashed a lot of people into thinking that they were going to make the playoffs this year.
Dude, I
So
know They had me going, dude.
They're
They
like
had me going.
they legit were like, yeah, we're the better like of the Red Wings, the Sabres, and us. Like we're obviously better of those three, and we're gonna make the playoffs and fuck Buffalo and Detroit. You know what? Of all their saber rattling, they did a decent job. I don't know how they legit brainwashed us because like you look at the roster, it's like, oh, they actually didn't do anything other than trade DeBrincat for Tarasenko.
Yeah, and Talbot for Corpusalo.
Yeah, like, oh wow, actually they didn't really do anything. Okay, never mind. Oh, and
Yeah.
Norris came back before like, pretty much putting an end to his career finally. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's finally buried.
after his fourth his shoulder is held on by fucking duct tape at this point. So,
Good for him, dude.
yep. Poor guy.
Is he
But
30? Is he 32? Because that's what I'm about to be, and that's how I feel.
Norris? No, man, he's young, I think.
No, he's definitely young, but he
Josh
should.
Norris.
He's 24 going on
He's
fucking
he's
32.
25.
25 going on 32.
25 and he's had like four shoulder surgeries already.
Dude, I walked 18 holes of golf this last weekend,
And I
and
was
my
winded.
no, I was fine with there. I was fine
Okay.
there. My ankle started
Physical.
clicking.
Oh god.
Yeah, my ankle started clicking on like a whole fucking like 10, dude. I'm
Good
just
shit.
so old. I'm so old.
Buddy shit. All right. Anything else on the coaches? We got to get out of here.
Now let's leave.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening. This is one of our longer ones, but God, it's been a while since we've had one. So thanks
Sure.
for staying with us if you made it the whole way here. We appreciate you. We love the hell out of you. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Spotify. And subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening to one of those crazy ones, I know we probably still have a Player FM crowd out there. We appreciate the hell out of you wherever you're listening from. Thank you. Love you. And we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Well, goodbye.